What's up? What's up? We're going to be changing the name of the show soon to Cheesy Bear, but it doesn't really matter because we got the people here that we've got another one coming in. I am Isaac with Fun Football Podcast. My co-host Med, he's in a wonderful mood. He has an offensive coordinator, or he doesn't. I don't know. Med, how you doing, bud?
Well, if it tells you something, I got the infuser going on in the background, so I'm feeling great right now.
I'm happy. I'm just happy to see you, dude. We've got some returning guests, man. I'm so excited. We've got Andy from NFL Outdated. Man, I'm excited for both of y'all. Seriously, Andy, how are you doing, man?
That's great.
Hey, I am relaxed. I'm just hanging back. You know what? I think the Packers should be scared. If I was Packers fans, I would be super scared about what's about going to happen. It is, and I'm sure we're going to get into it. But hey, we got a new offensive coordinator. Sky's the limit now. Sky is the limit. So how about that? I'm not crabby like this
defense. I'm curious how your offense is going to look this weekend. I won't lie. This is the best the Bears have looked in a minute, but the last few weeks have been a problem. But this could be like the Saints changing their coach. And a lot of, like the Raiders last year, interim coaches can help. Sometimes interim coordinators can. So this could happen. We've got another guest here. We've got John returning from Detroit Sports Podcast. John, how are you doing, man?
Man, it's great. Did you guys hear the breaking news? Matt Eberflus just fired 2 more coordinators. As we just started, he found 2 more scapegoats to figure out how to run his operation there. The Bears have had themselves quite the negative PR over the last couple days. So here in Detroit, we've just been sitting back, listening to the great callers call into Chicago sports radio, ripping the Bears, losing to the Patriots. I just thought the radio host talking about Matt Eberflus's terrible phone lines. I just think that you guys looked remarkably, calm for what's going on with things in Chicago. It's looking like 4th place is where the Bears are going to reside for the next couple of years.
Oh, couple of years. Also, I'm a little testy because y'all screwed me in my pick 'em. I picked you Bears I assumed you could handle the Patriots.
I think.
What happened, guys? Come on. Tell me what happened. Andy, what happened? Come on, give it to me.
Eberflus happened.
Yes.
Eberflus happened.
Yeah.
So, and you know what, Caleb?
Sorry, go ahead. You're good.
I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried that Caleb definitely has kind of checked out of the coaching staff. So maybe that was part of it. You can tell the team has been lost, in the locker room, and it sucks to see because there's so much potential. But there was a move, and I think this week it's going to help a lot. So hey, we'll take it as Bears fans. We'll take it. We got to take something, right?
Do you think it's more the coaching or the front office? Do you guys think it's because to me, like, I'm concerned. Me and Med were talking about this on the phone, and I'm like, I'm not one of those I would actually like to see the Bears win one game against us eventually, just so it's an actual rivalry. But I'm so concerned about y'all's ownership. It's not Jerry level because Jerry meddles even more, but they just meddle. And I'm wondering if they're going to let Poles complete his vision of this team. That's my biggest concern. Like, you can get rid of an Eberflus. Are they going to hire the right guy? That's my question.
Well, the way that I look at it right now is they got rid of a guy that was being extremely conservative. When you sit there and you rank you're 14th in pass attempts, but you're 30th in passing yards. Your net average per attempt is only 4.6 yards per throw. And when I was watching, I'm pretty sure Andy was watching this too. When I was watching Hard Knocks, I mean, Matt Eberflus was teaching Caleb Williams his footwork. What kind of mad person, when you are a defensive guru, is teaching the quarterback his footwork? It just didn't really make any sense with me. The offensive line is not that great. There needed to be a change. I don't know if Thomas Brown is the right change, personally. He was the original OC for the Frank Wright era in the Panthers when they ranked 31st in scoring at 13.9.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, and you kind of look at those numbers. It is concerning that way. I think mainly the eye test with Shane Waldron. You got all of these pieces. DJ Moore is unhappy, right? Keenan Allen, all these pieces, and you're just not using them properly. And I think that was a big thing with DJ Moore. I mean, too many similar screens and things like that gets you, or the previous, OC was trying to, do, and it's just so predictable, and it's just so there's a change, and that needed to happen, and I think there's going to be infuse a little bit of excitement. I think just from the players that they were listened to. The only thing, obviously, I think maybe everyone's kind of hearing that there were some veterans that maybe thought that Bajan should start. And I totally get that, kind of, this team has the talent to win now, and I think Caleb, he's shown that he can do that. But the coaching matters. I mean, you got to put your players in position to win. And obviously Waldron wasn't doing that.
I agree. John, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, just look at the Bears, and you look at it from the perspective of the expectations were very high and elevated coming into the season with the defensive changes, the upgrades that were made, obviously the additions, bringing in a veteran like Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift. You kind of felt like, okay, the Bears were thinking, okay, this is a year to take the step that the Lions took in year 2. Maybe not make the postseason, but kind of be around 9-8, 8-9, kind of take a step forward. And when you look at it from the outside, it just looked chaotic. It looks like Eberflus is in over his head. It has the feel of a coach that when you have to, not have the stability, in the end, when you're constantly flipping coordinators and it still doesn't work, I just think that from Bears fans' perspective, and you're hearing the outside noise, if you're listening and you're observing and you got an offensive coordinator like Cliff Kingsbury out there, how do you let him leave a potential opportunity? I think he's the best one. And he quickly went to the Commanders and handled business. I mean, you picked probably the worst of the choices that were available to run your offense. And you have an opportunity with a young quarterback. You've now derailed that whole thing. Now it's just in chaos. And I think that's where somebody had messaged me today and said they wanted a comparison. And they said, who runs their organization worse, the Bears or the Cowboys? And I just put yes. You know what I mean? They're both being run inappropriately. And when you look at it from the perspective of what goes on, I think Bears fans are looking at ownership and they're looking at everything. But, the talk now is, are the Bears going to steal Ben Johnson? That whisper came out from Sports Illustrated that, hey, maybe Ben wants it. I would look at it like if the noise is that Ben is being selective, I think all the advice would be from Dan and all his friends, like, stay the hell away from the Bears. There's no chance for you to have success going on. It's a tough situation with everything going on. I do think that a new head coach and bringing in some stability with some wise, experienced coordinators that can come in and run a system and stick with it for a couple of seasons will get the Bears a little bit back on track. But it's too chaotic, and it's unfortunate because you can see where an organization, when there's the hunger, the passion of the Bears fans. I don't know if you guys saw the video. The fan that was walking he left the game early. And of course, Lions fans are loving this. We're just enjoying watching all the Bears fans. And he's like, I just can't even watch this. He's got a big laugh on his face. He's like, this is just atrocious. Like, you came in and everybody was expecting, okay, get your season right against the Patriots. And you can't do that. You lost to the Patriots. I mean, to Drake May, that's pretty low. And it is frustrating for Bears fans. And look, here in Detroit, there's no love lost. We're very happy to see that because the Adam Ranks of the world, the Pardon My Take, Big Cat, everybody that loves the Bears definitely has the hype train going for them at certain times, thinking that the Bears were going to contend with the Lions. And that couldn't be further from the truth at this point. So you guys got a really clean house. It's just the bottom line. Eberflus is not the guy. And you can hear it from his interviews. You can hear it from the way in which He presents himself. Poles made a mistake, and you got to keep it moving forward.
And also,
Yeah,
I
it's
know
interesting because
sorry, Andy. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead, man. Yeah, no, I'll go later. You're good.
No, that was the reason for keeping Eberflus was stability, and obviously he's provided none of that. And it just, I mean, just his in-game incapability of making the right calls in the crucial moments, and I think that's what obviously. As a Bears fan or even a football fan, that's something from the very beginning that you looked at the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell. I mean, he's not afraid of the moment. He never was, and that's kind of what we've been missing for a long time as Bears fans, having a coach that's, not afraid of the moment. And Med could probably, attest to this. Like, I feel like Lovie Smith was that last coach that wasn't afraid of the moment, and we got rid of him, and obviously, we had a lot of success with them, and since it's been not much of anything.
A defensive-minded guy works only if you get the right OC and the right quarterback coach. There's defensive-minded guys or tough-nailed dudes like Lovey. I think that would work. Me and Med have had this conversation multiple times off the air and on the air, and I agree with Med. And I'm not going to take the words out of his mouth, but he was thinking I was an offensive-minded guy. Med, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, John pretty much nailed the person I actually tweeted about earlier today with Ben Johnson. I think that really and truthfully, let's be real, if he was able to do that with Jared Goff, he could just think about what he could do with Caleb Williams. I mean, it's just one of those things that the last time we actually brought in a offensive-minded coach was Tressman, right when they got rid of Lovie Smith, and it was a flop. And, it's just one of those deals where he took a playoff team and made them 8-8. Like, he made us average. And it really feels like ever since that happened, it's been like an uphill battle. You get Trubinsky, you get, Matt Nagy had a couple good years, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But, I think Ben Johnson would be really, I understand, like John said, you don't really want to go into a bad situation, but if you want to get everything that you want in a contract, you're going to have to go into a bad situation, and touch up on what Andy said earlier. I was a former coach. It's the coach's job to get his players up to a game. And in the pros, you shouldn't really have to do that. But at the end of the day, it's the players that have to have that confidence to go in there and actually play the game. And if they don't, this is the end result. Patriots just whooped us, plain and simple.
And no quarterback is going to have a chance. It could be Bo Nix, who's looking great, Jaden Daniels, who's looking great. It could be, seriously, it doesn't matter, rookie or professional, or rookie or veteran. It doesn't matter. If you're getting sacked 9 times, you're not going to have a chance. And Med, I know you pulled it up. How bad are the Bears right now, PFF, or just overall? Because eyeball test, I'm worried they're wrecking Caleb's career if they don't fix this fast in a hurry. Well, I thought they were one of the teams that should have made a move at the trade deadline.
Well, right now you look at their left tackle, Burrow, who was the highest in the game this past Sunday at 64.6. Average is 60. You had 2 other guys, David Kramer, who came in after Jenkins went down with a little bit of an injury. He finished with a 34.1, which is 30 is considered poor. Coleman Shelton, starting center, 51.3. There's been some injuries on that offensive line, and but like they always say, next man up. But the problem is you got Caleb Williams, who has been sacked 38 times this season in 9 games. The person that is in second this season right now is C.J. Stroud with 34, and he played in more games than what Caleb Williams has done. So it's just really and truthfully, I understand what Ryan Poles has tried to do with getting bargain players and everything like that. But if you keep trying to get bargain players, you're going to go ahead and miss up the jackpot, which was your number 1 overall pick in Caleb Williams. Hello, David Carr.
Yep. I agree. Med, do you have any more Bears thoughts at the moment? Anything else you want to hit before we move on?
No, I'm ready to hit someone else's team.
Well, just because my team was on bye, I'd love to talk about the Packer Bear game, but I think we got to talk about that Lion game, because was that that was one of the strangest wins I think I've ever seen. Like, for me, to throw 5 picks, there was another game with like 7 picks in it. I don't think I've seen a team this quarterback proof. I'm a little concerned, John, about your ceiling if Goff doesn't right the ship. And the funny thing is against pressure this year, he'd been excellent. Excellent. And something was going on that game, man. It wasn't just the picks, he was missing throws. He righted the ship in the second half, and I saw him starting to correct it, but he missed the ball didn't look like it was coming out right to me. I watched that entire game. I've watched a lot of Jared Goff. There was more going on than that. Dan Campbell's fingerprints, to me, are all over this team. It's grit. I love it. And the fact that they were down at halftime that significantly, and they were able to rebound and be resilient, kind of like reminding me of the Packer comeback against Minnesota, but y'all finished it. I mean, that was one of the wins of the year. If they can figure out this Jared Goff thing, that could be the type of win that propels y'all to a Super Bowl. But you all were my pick anyways. But what were your thoughts on Jared Goff? Are you concerned moving forward? Do you think it's a blip? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, look, it's absolutely, when everybody sees that, it's a rough thing. But one of the interceptions was a hit like Hail Mary at the end of the first half. So Dan Campbell was asked about it, and he said, "Look, how many, what." Dan Campbell stood up for Goff this whole week clearly and said, "Look, there were some situations in which maybe the receiver wasn't exactly in the right spot, but here's the thing with Jared Goff, he's a rhythm passer." And in the face of pressure, I just thought that the early game plan just didn't suit what the Lions do well. You really utilize Amon-Ra St. Brown to the best of your ability. And you also, too, you got to remember that Taylor Decker, the left tackle, was not there. So the offensive line rhythm exactly didn't get off to the right foot. But here's the crazy part. The Lions played terrible in that first half. And I think that everybody was really shocked that they're airing an interview that was pre-taped with Dan Campbell. He's just saying, look, we just need turnovers and the momentum is going to switch as the turnover happens. And that's in the game of football. When you get momentum with turnovers, the Lions are going to take advantage. And what it shows is, and I think, this is where Bears fans can kind of have a little bit of solace, is that if you build a good football team and you actually have a great talent evaluator, then you can surround a good player like a Caleb Williams with some talent across the board on the offensive line, in the secondary, and you can play all 3 phases well. But with the Detroit Lions, what's been happening as of late is the defense has kind of stepped up, and the offense has for the last month dominated. They've played well, and yeah, maybe the opponents not maybe up to the caliber that the Houston was, but I think it's a good test. And you got to remember, the Lions were on the road against a good football team that coming in there to prove a point. They used the Lions as a statement, like, hey, this is what we want to establish. They wanted to pressure Goff, and they exposed some weaknesses. And the weakness with Jared Goff is pressure. When you have a quarterback that, in any quarterback, if timing is off, you're going to struggle. But here's the thing with the Lions. They're gritty. And to beat the Lions, you're going to have to beat them for 60 minutes. You can beat them for 15, 30, 45, 48. But for the Detroit Lions, their mantra of grit and fighting till the end is on full display. And right now, the Vikings have seen it, and the Packers have seen it, and the Bears are going to see it twice. I think the Lions are the best, one of the best 3 teams in the entire NFL, top to bottom, and they can expose all weaknesses. They got everything rolling. It's an 8-1 football team. So a blip on the radar, and then you win the game. It's one of those deals where the Lions are not counting on Jared Goff to carry them on his shoulders. He's got offensive weapons galore, young secondary, 2 elite safeties, and a young linebacker that's emerging in his second year. You'd be hard-pressed to find really too many complaints. It's one of those games for Jared Goff. But, when you look at the schedule, you got a couple freebies coming up. I thought the Bears game would be more competitive, but I can just say it right now. I think you got 3 freebies coming up this next 3 games with the Jaguars, Colts, and Bears. It's just going to be slim pickings. I think the next game that's going to be competitive is going to be the Bills. So for the Detroit Lions, it's great because the division's looking up at the Lions. They got they're the class of the division, and now people are seeing they're pretty much the class of the NFC. And the goal for this Lions team is to get the number 1 seed. If the Lions end the regular season with the 1 seed, it would be hard pressed for anybody to bet that some other team is going to come into Ford Field and beat them. I think that the Lions, to me, my season prediction was that they were going to get to the Super Bowl and lose, but steadily they're starting to showcase that, hey, maybe this is a football team that actually can get to the Super Bowl and win it. So to me, this is the best time. And so I'm taking the same mantra as all the Lions fans. We're winning, we're gloating, and not only are we doing that, but we're taking joy in watching Sam Darnold do whatever the hell he did last week. And that we love that. The old Sam Darnold is rising up. We want to foster that. Old Sam Darnold can come out there and do his thing. That was embarrassing to watch. The Bears are a dumpster fire, and the Packers have a quarterback that in crunch time makes the critical mistakes. So for Lions fans and supporters, we're standing on the mountaintop, and we are not respecting anybody. And it's the lead of the head coach. And from the moment he stepped foot to the podium, he said this: we're there to knock your kneecaps out. And the Lions fans are taking it a little bit further. We're there to knock your kneecaps out and stand over you and laugh. And I think, it's a little too assertive, but hey, winning is fun. We haven't tasted winning like this at the high level, 7 straight wins. So for Lions fans, it's all good, where you can play C- football and win games. And it's a great time to be a Lions fan. I just think that the league has taken notice of what this football team is. The Lions are everywhere, and people are now talking Lions, Chiefs, Lions, Ravens, and that's the way it should be. It's the Lions and everybody else.
Yeah, but if your quarterback throws 5 picks in the playoffs and it looks like that under pressure, I think you guys are in a little bit of trouble. As good as your team is,
Lions, and Jared Goff is going to throw 5 picks in a playoff game. When you got Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I just think that the opportunity for the Lions. Look, every team's going to have a stinker, but they got the win. So I think that's the worst game you're going to see Jared Goff this year.
And Jordan Love, though, last year didn't throw a lot of interceptions. He actually only threw 1 down the stretch. So I'd like to see my quarterback healthy, because if he hadn't gifted you guys that pick 6, that was actually a really close game. He kind of tossed it away. So I'm hoping the Jordan Love of last year comes back, who actually looked good up until the 49er playoff game and won a playoff game. That's what I'm hoping we see, because I actually think maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, but I actually think we're your biggest challenger in the NFC. So I want to see Shelby here. He took some shots at the Vikings. Man,
also, I think it's kind of crazy he would say that, Dan Campbell talked about taking out kneecaps when C.J. Gardner-Johnson did exactly that to your boy T.J. Hawkinson last year, Shelby. What do you feel?
That's why whenever people say that, I'm like, it's not really funny, because you're actually doing it. And the fact that they're proud of that is like insane to me, especially as a Vikings fan that, went through Bountygate and stuff like that. Like,
or like
is that really how you want to be remembered, to be a team that's purposely trying to hurt people to win? Like, do you need to hurt people to win, or are you a good team?
I'll look at it like this. No, in Detroit, the blessing is there is no opinion that matters outside of Detroit. You can speak to whatever you want to speak about. It's literally Detroit versus everybody, and nobody cares what is said about the Lions outside of Detroit. So if they win violently, if they win cleanly, nobody cares. And the Lions are saying it openly. They're there to hit, and you just saw Brian Branch get ejected, and you're seeing a viral video. And in Detroit, look, it's Motown, it's gritty. And look, we can disagree on the violence of the game. I embrace the violence. I don't look at football like this is a sport where you need to, we don't need to like step back from the fact it's a violent sport. And that's what happens. Dan Campbell is a former tight end, and the Lions are openly saying they want to be violent and they want to be aggressive, and they're going to hit you. And remember too, Shelby, the teams that play the Lions, they lose afterwards. You know why? Because they're wore the F out, because they've been in a battle in the trenches, and they've been in a battle. So yes, Detroit would have no problem having the reputation of being the bad boys in football and basketball. So we don't have a problem with a nasty reputation in any capacity. I don't shy away from hits and anything like that. This is football. This is NFL football where you get hurt, and that's how it's going to go.
There's a difference between it being a violent sport and like purposely trying.
The Lions are not purposely trying to hurt anybody. It's within the rules of the game, and they're good. They're. You asked the question: are they a talented football team? Yes, they've drafted very well. The Brad Holmes will be widely regarded as a top 3 general manager in the NFL. Clearly,
I'm not taking away from the Lions' grit and talent of the team. Like, I would never do that. Every other
very talented team.
Yeah, every other podcast.
I would. That's my.
I give Lions their flowers. That's not my thing. But like, when there's so many other things about the team that you can talk about that are good, to be like, oh, this is why we're good is strange to me. Also, guys, I didn't sleep for 21 hours. I went to sleep at noon. I just woke up like I'm
do you work 12-hour shifts? Are you a nurse? What do you do? Like, you work overnights? What do you do?
I do work late nights, but I don't know. I could not. I have insomnia and I didn't take my.
Oh man, I'm sorry. You said you work overnights. I was like, dang, that's like
I just woke up in another dimension. It's pitch dark. I run to get on, and I'm hearing about Lions fans taking me back. Like, I feel like I'm like in a whirlwind. But yeah, I get it that the Lions are good. I think it's funny that you're like, oh, Jared Goff isn't going to throw 5 interceptions. But he did, though. So he's obviously capable of doing it. And he didn't even do it against, like, a team that anyone would have expected it to happen against. Granted, the Texans are I'm not going to say amazing, because what did the Vikings do against them? I don't know, but that's just me. It's obviously a different team. They got Mixon back and whatever. But if you're against the Chiefs or the Ravens,
it better be clean. Yes, it better be clean.
Yeah, that's a completely different ballgame. I will say I was completely shocked by that performance. It did make me feel better about Darnold's performance, because everybody else is like, oh yeah, Sam is Sam. He's seeing ghosts again. Goff, it was like, oh shit. Especially because, okay, Goff has the best offensive line in the league, in my opinion. He hasn't been touched. He hasn't had any pressure. So it was interesting to me, like, is this how he is in pressure? Because he normally hasn't had to deal with it. And when you're facing, like you said, a team where you need to be clean, that's a concern that, oh, is it all that needs to happen for this to fall apart is Jared Goff needs to be pressured. Because let's be honest, you literally won that game by like 2 inches. I've never seen a kick that like insanely close. Too. That was crazy. But yeah, and the thing about, okay, let's be 100% realistic. The Ravens are a sloppy team. The Ravens, I understand everyone thinks that they're amazing. Lamar Jackson is amazing, but they make stupid mistakes. They are a Vikings team. They're a Bills team. It's hard to see them beating the Chiefs and making it to a Super Bowl, at least anytime soon, when you watch them in a game like this last week, and they're just sloppy. They're sloppy. They win against on the hair of their teeth too. Whereas realistically, if it's the Chiefs, we look at them in the season, and me and Andy and I talk about this all the time, but like, we'll look at them during the season. We're like, oh, this is the year of their decline. Like, they're not even looking good. Yeah, maybe they're 8-0, 9-0, but that doesn't matter because they're still low-key playing like shit. They're just like barely winning. But they are a different breed in playoffs. There is something about the Chiefs where they're like, la-di-da, it doesn't matter in the season because we're going to get to the playoffs regardless. And then you get there and it's like a completely different situation. So it was just interesting.
Yeah,
You
I
said
think
what?
the Lions in the playoffs will kind of probably fumble it away too. I mean, that's the thing, that they're kind of different breed in the playoffs. So how about that?
Let's not forget the NFC Championship last year. That was like the biggest fumble.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
That was crazy.
And so that's why you're looking at an 8-1 football team after that game. It stung everybody from top to bottom. And so that's why this football team is coming out with their hair on fire every week. And they want to have the NFC title game in Detroit. The goal for the team is to be number 1 seed and see what happens. And I do hope that there's an opportunity to spend 2 weeks talking about the Lions and the Chiefs, because it would be really, the talk would be, the Chiefs have the best player on the field with Patrick Mahomes, but the Lions collectively have one of the best teams. And that would be such a great matchup. And the Lions have confidence because they went to Arrowhead and won. Yeah, granted, it wasn't with Kelsey, but they have the experience. They know what's going on. And the Lions, look, for what it's worth, Jared Goff embodies everything that is what's making the Lions successful. A castaway player that has been embraced, was traded away. And the Lions, Ben Johnson, when he got the opportunity to work with them, has highlighted all his strengths. And the reason, certain games are going to happen is, you're going to have fluctuations in the offensive line. You have Dan Skipper is a different talent level than Taylor Decker. So when you have an injury, it changes up the flow. And it wasn't pretty. So no doubt, Jared Goff threw a lot of interceptions. But here's the best part. Here's the best part about why the Lions are successful. Aaron Glenn has now taken his name and put his name into serious consideration to be an NFL head coach. His defense is, when you look and dive into that defense, it's aggressive, young, and doesn't give up points. It is one of those defenses where bend don't break truly in a fashion that it's at an elite level. And when you can do that, you can kind of really say that you can weather some mistakes. You can weather. Dan Campbell was willing to, a couple weeks back, try a fake punt and from his own 35-yard line and gave up the touchdown. No problems. Didn't worry about it, because the Detroit Lions have the capabilities to, over the course of 60 minutes, this football team has been built to grind and to utilize the talent. So for the Lions.
But last year he made those stupid decisions where he
that's last year.
Go for it on fourth instead of.
You can talk about last year all you want. We're talking about 2024 with an 8-1 football team. You can keep bringing that up, but
what was their record last year though?
12-5. This year it could be 14-3. So again,
my question
goal for the Lions is number 1 seed. All roads lead to Detroit. If that happens, nobody's going to beat them. Nobody.
Okay, here's my question. Well, you say that, and I would probably lean that way in the NFC, but the one thing Sunday's game did was made me a little skeptical. As great as he's looked this year, Shelby kind of nailed it. When you get pressure on Goff, and you can bring up, I'm going to bring up last year, because the evidence of this year is 8-1 and it's not complete. So I'm going to go off of previously. And Jordan Love has been terrible this year. So if we went off this year, he's had bad moments. He's also looked great at times, but I'd love him stop looking like Brett Favre. That'd be really nice, because I think if he stopped throwing interceptions, I think the Packers can hang with anybody. But
he likes.
I want to know if Jared Goff can win a Super Bowl, because if he can't do it this team, I don't think it can be done, because they're going to lose at least one of their coordinators. It needs to be done now, this year, while you've got David Montgomery still playing as good as he has. And I know you've got a young team, but it's really tough to replace coordinators. Look at the Chiefs. There's a reason that they've two-peated Spagnuolo. That's why. The Lions need to get this done right now this year. And my concern is the one thing that game did, even though they won that game that was against the Texans, we beat them too. As good as they are, they've been sliding. Does Jared Goff have this, like the team around him, is the ceiling a Super Bowl win? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, that's the hope. And that's the next step. Clearly here in Detroit, we're just looking for that first one. Success is new for this organization for the last 2 years. Now, when coordinators leave and stuff happens, that'll be the next test for this organization and Brad Holmes. But look, the situation is clear that our general manager can bring in talent and find ways to bring in players that can do well. So I'm
True.
of the expectation that Dan Campbell has a lot of influence on the offense, so he may end up calling plays offensively if Ben Johnson does leave. The issue will be defensively, who ends up taking the reins. Would it be, Calvin Shepard, the linebackers coach, or who would take over defensively? But I do think that Jared Goff can win a Super Bowl, but in the framework of how the Lions are doing it. The Lions are not relying on Jared Goff to shoulder complete load and be the guy. They have a team. They have offense, defense, and a kicker that can kick it 65 yards consistently. And if he gets better, the Lions might have, a Justin Tucker type kicker at this level. So they got a great punter, great kicker, and a special teams unit that's shining. So they're looking at it like, hey, we built a team. And in that moment where you guys say, okay, if Goff's not with it, I think they would turn to the run game and find avenues. This team can win in a lot of different ways. And if Goff is not playing well, I think I think Gibbs and Montgomery, you're starting to see Gibbs start to showcase a little bit more with his speed, and that's where the offensive line can take over. So the Lions can win a lot of different ways. So I do think the Lions have a puncher's chance if they get there against the Chiefs or anybody in the AFC. They got a good chance.
That was a very powerful speech.
Yes, that's the truth. And look, I think that in the NFC, the team that maybe there's nobody in the NFC North that is going to concern the Lions. The teams that we're looking at from our side is the Eagles and the Commanders. The NFC East has a little bit more of our attention.
Y'all barely beat the Vikings. And Bears.
You don't need style points.
You barely beat us twice last year.
When the game ended,
the
Lions
beat us once last year. We almost beat you twice,
and that's going to happen again when the Vikings come here. So I don't think anybody in the NFC North is going to challenge the Lions, and you guys can believe that.
What about the first half against
the Lions?
We're going to find out, bud. We're going to find out if Jordan Love's healthy.
This year, it's just one of those deals where the Lions are the team to beat in the NFC, and until anything shows me.
Yeah, but it's closer than you. It's closer than you think.
It's closer than you think. The Vikings and Packers are not. It's not a. It's not an ocean. It's a river to me. It might be along like the Mississippi, but we're gonna find out.
I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking that Detroit had one good season. They're starting to talk like Patriots fans all of a sudden.
I know. I'm don't choke it away in the playoffs this year. You guys choked that away last year. You did.
But the Lions are 8-1, 7-game winning streak.
No, you've been great. You're my number one team.
With the Lions, other than could you imagine what would have happened if Aiden Hutchinson stayed healthy? The Lions were going to decimate the NFC North to a degree that would have been unrecognizable.
Some big talk. You better go win the Super Bowl,
John.
I know, right?
You better win it, man. All this smack talk, John. You better win it. If there's anything short with this level of confidence.
But the thing is they don't even know, like,
they don't know winning. They don't know winning. They don't know winning. They don't know winning.
This is it.
They just don't. I know winning. They don't know winning. This is I've been winning. I win every year.
Utah Jazz was a fantastic team in the 90s.
Right.
They never won. Utah Jazz.
No, I know, man. Barry, man.
They couldn't get over a Chicago team.
So, John, the one thing I got to ask you is you're talking about that 7-game winning streak, but that last loss was against a 4-6 Tampa Bay team.
Oh.
Hey, remember, guys, you got to put it in context. They did lose Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, come on. When they came to Detroit, they had their full alignment.
He wasn't afraid.
Baker Mayfield is playing out of his mind, and he's got, unfortunately, the worst luck this year with those injuries. Come on, man. You know that.
No, I feel you there on John.
When the Lions played the Bucs.
Fire, but you're talking about 3 teams that want to stomp it out.
And my team took care of the Texans without having to come back. I don't know. I'm feeling like pretty solid.
Listen, all I can say is the stock right now. The stock for the Lions is at the medium price. You want to get in right now because pretty soon it's gonna. If they get the taste of winning this year, look out because you're gonna get Aiden Hutchinson back and another draft class and free agents. It might be one of those deals where the Lions are the Patriots and you guys are just gonna be playing for second for the rest of this decade.
Well, wait. Let's see.
What happens when he loses your coaches?
I want another crack with my quarterback with 2 legs this time, and let's see how the game goes. Let's have him have 2 legs this time.
If you check Wikipedia, Jordan Love's dad is Kirby Joseph, and that's how it's gonna be for the foreseeable future. It's gonna be his dad, godfather, grandpa.
Jared Goff's dad is the Texans secondary, bud.
So that's how it goes. And two, for the Packers, to look at the Packers, when I did the preview with the other SI writer, the thing that he said was, man, the Packers are playing great if they can overcome Jordan Love's terrible decision making. And what did he do? He threw a football that literally one play was the single worst play of the year that led to the pick 6 in a game where I thought that strategy of throwing the football in that vicinity at that time was probably one of the worst decisions he's made among many. And I just think that Jordan Love this year, you're comparing Jordan Love to Jared Goff, and Jordan Love is turning the football over at the worst clip of any Packer quarterback in the recent decades. So that's, I think, the issue right now with the Packers is being held back by Jordan Love.
Thankfully, I've watched a massively mistake-prone quarterback be successful in Brett Favre, so I know it's doable. It just sucks when he handicaps your team. I'm hoping he gets healthy because I'm noticing he can't move. And the pick against the Titans was actually worse. It was against the Titans, so you can overcome that because let's just all be honest here, the Titans suck. Will Levis might be the worst quarterback in the NFL, but against you guys, it was a backbreaker because it was a 7-3 game. We were in that damn game. We had missed a freaking field goal that would have put it 7-6, and then we gift wrapped you 7 points. I made 2 videos about it that went freaking viral. I got all cocky, said we were going to beat the Lions because I thought we had a chance, and we did until my dumb freaking quarterback threw a stupid pick 6. Reminded me of Brett Favre because I actually am old enough. I remember all of Brett Favre, and I was like, okay, listen, nobody wants Aaron Rodgers again. The guy's a dick, but please don't look like Brett Favre. Come on. This is ridiculous. It's worse, actually.
So, Isaac, let's talk
Andy's got to go too, and so
Jordan
we got to hit him a little bit.
10 interceptions in the past 9 games.
Hey, bud, get one quarterback in your franchise history. Get one. Get one. How's Caleb looking?
Caleb looks pretty decent right
9. What? Matt, say that with confidence. Put your shades on. Show me that with confidence.
He's a rookie.
He needs an offensive line is what he needs. But you're right, Jared. I need to eat it because I went out there and said the Packers would beat the Lions, and Jordan Love basically wrecked that chance. We didn't have a chance because of the way he played. It was really unfortunate because our secondary has been honestly one of the best in the league, not just by what I'm saying, by every metric. We have two of the best safeties in the league when Evan Williams is healthy. McKinney's been a godsend. Our running game, Josh Jacobs has been awesome. We've got a receiving core. Our offensive line's solid. Our run D has actually been okay for once. But Jordan Love is let's make this harder. And that's what he's been doing.
He's mid. It's all right.
He's not. No. I don't want to hear it from the Bears fan that doesn't have a coordinator. Beat us Sunday, and then we'll talk. I'm going to be that confident. I'm not even worried about that. I'm not even worried about y'all. I'm worried about the Lions and Vikings.
30th in the red zone and only 19th in the red and third down conversion. Let's talk about that. You want to sit here and talk some shit? Let's talk some shit. Bring it on.
Bears are winning versus the Packers this week. Mark it down.
No, they're not. I'll bet. I'll gamble.
23-21 Bears.
I bet $20 right now that they Bears. I feel that confident. I'd go 40 even. No way.
23-21
I'm not
Bears.
even remotely worried about you. I'm not. If we were playing the Lions, I wouldn't gamble. I feel like we could, but I wouldn't bet it. The Vikings, I think, is 50-50. But I'm not. No, we're going to destroy you guys. I think it's going to be a 2-score game. I really do. Let's see you guys score some points.
23-21 Bears.
What's your offense? Let's talk about the Bears. So the Bears, let's look at them. They are 28th in 20th in EPA rushing, 27th in passing. 27th, man.
Take a look at what happened the last time Eberflus was his job was on the line. What happened?
We beat you.
Washington last year.
We beat you.
Washington last year.
Washington. Who was the coach and quarterback of Washington then? Did they have Jaden Daniels? Did they have Dan Quinn? Who did the Commanders have last year? Were they?
No.
How many
Take a
games
look
did
at
they
the
win
last
last year?
time. How did the Bears respond when Eberflus was under
Your example isn't how they
scrutiny
played against
last year?
Washington last year, is it?
And
He did do better down the stretch. I'll give you that.
Okay, so
that was his
Dallas
best game.
Has 7 first-round picks on their defense, but is only midway in the NFL in rankings in both the pass and run. Why is it that Jair Alexander and Devin Wyatt have been out of the games, 7 of those games? Why is it that 3 of your defensive players are the 3 highest players on your team, and you got a mid-range defense?
Isn't our defense actually? Our pass D is top 10. Our run D is middle.
Walker,
our defense is like around 12. It's not that much further below your defense. Am I right? And the one thing you guys can fall on is defense because you don't have an offense. Your rushing D is like below average. The only thing good about you guys is your pass defense on your whole team. Crappy teams. My team's 6-3. My team's not crappy, bud. No, my team's actually pretty solid. We're in the playoffs right now. I'm not really worried. I'm not worried about this week.
Who have
I'm
the Packers
worried about
beaten?
the 49ers and the Lions, the 2 teams we can't beat.
Who have the Packers beaten?
Who did we beat? We just beat the Texans. We hung with the Eagles. We almost beat the Vikings. We almost came back from 20-0.
Almost.
Who'd you guys beat? What win have you had this year?
Almost.
Give me one. Wow. One win.
Hey, I just asked you about the Packers. I'm saying
you're saying you're a fantastic team. You did almost beat the Commanders this year. Almost. You almost did.
Yeah, exactly. And
are you actually feeling confident about this game? I gotta know. For real. Give me like a real answer.
Andy,
I am.
He
I love Andy.
Something in order to get through the season.
I told Ned I was coming out like shots fired, and I waited a minute.
No, I am confident.
Here's the thing. Your defense is good. If you guys can protect
23-21 Bears,
you have a shot against anybody, but that has been the furthest from the truth. We're just going to blitz the heck out of you, man. He's going to get sacked 8 times.
Brisker needs to be back.
Caleb is going to he might get hurt in this game. He's going to get wrecked, dude. Your offensive line, Med even knows it. Your offensive line can't protect a nosebleed. They can't do anything. It's undermined your entire team. And it's a super easy thing. If we just blitz a little, field day, man. Like, I'm going to start the Packers D against Chicago this week in fantasy.
I will say
that's the thing.
Williams can't do pressure.
So that's
no, he can't.
No, he can't.
Now maybe start the Bears D against the Packers because Jordan Love might throw you some bigs.
Here's the thing. I think when you have a change in coaching and you have a new offensive coordinator, this is kind of what, as Bears fans, we've been looking for is them moving the pocket and doing different things and not just being so predictable. And I think that's what you're going to see a little bit more. Players are going to be more excited. Obviously DJ Moore, getting him more involved. I think that's going to be key right away. Obviously, the running game is going to be huge too. DeAndre Swift, getting him going. Yes. And I think when you have this infusion of excitement, I think that's why I think Packers should be worried. They wouldn't have been, maybe as worried with Waldron because he's so predictable. And now, I mean, you don't know what the new coordinator is going to do. He's going to infuse a little bit of excitement. Caleb's going to be excited, kind of more engaged. Obviously, I think Caleb has been disengaged. You see the clip of him with Waldron on the sideline. He was done with him already, right? And so I think Caleb's going to be more engaged and more excited. And our defense, if we get Jaquan Brisker back, I think that's going to be helpful. Tyreek Stevenson, I think he's ready to make amends. And I think you got Jalen Johnson, shutting down Packers wide receivers. So obviously the line is an issue, but if they do some different things to kind of scheme some of our players open, and that's the problem with Shane Waldron. He was not able to scheme, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen open. And I think that's what you're going to see. And this Bears team is dangerous this week. And was a 6.5-point favorite at Soldier Field. Caleb Williams plays a lot better at home, and I think he is ready to make amends for this. from last week. Obviously, he was missing, maybe some protection calls that he should have called. He's missing some of the easy layups. I think you're really going to see, a re-energized offense this week. So I think you should be scared.
Sorry, I kind of went a little aggressive there. I was like, I told Ned I was going to go shots fired, and John was bringing it. So I was like, I gotta be cocky here. I think the biggest problem is your O-line. I'm curious if Evan Williams and Med nailed it. Is John Alexander going to play? He's one of the highest paid corners in the league. Is he going to play? That's huge. But your offense is just my biggest concern. Is I feel like we could win this game scoring 14 points. Your offense, it just you haven't been able to run the ball consistently. I actually, as a Packers fan, picked a bunch of Bears in fantasy, and it's burned me most of the season. I have DeAndre Swift and Keenan Allen, and it's destroyed me because neither of them have been consistent at all. So I think your key to this game is getting Swift going to get some play action going, so you don't have to have extra blockers up there every single play and take some of the pressure off of Caleb. That's the only way I think you guys win this game. Your defense could keep you in it. Your pass D is pretty awesome. You guys are struggling. Actually, both teams are not great at getting to the passer. And your run D is where I think we're going to hit you guys. So it's going to be interesting. I
didn't realize the rest of the Bears season. I'm looking at the schedule.
It's a lot of division games.
How the fuck are you guys going to win any of these games?
You play San Fran and Seattle? You're going to beat Seattle. There you go. There is your 5th win.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the only one.
Yep.
You got
Unless you
Packers,
surprise San Fran.
Lions, 49ers, Vikings, Lions.
That's okay. We're gonna sweep. We're gonna sweep the Vikings. We're gonna sweep the Vikings. So
yeah.
I do ask, how do Bears fans feel? Because Lions fans, when they were struggling, it was always tank. When the Lions would struggle, it was always, hey, it's time to tank so that the Lions can get better talent.
Andy.
I think that's where this Bears team is kind of same with the Cowboys. They should just really
the Cowboys.
But here's the terrible part about embracing the tank. All the draft analysts you talk to say that outside of the top 30, this draft is horrible. There's no talent that is going to be impactful across the board. So it's tough, but I think the Bears should tank. I just think that why not go for another top offensive lineman and be there, or heck, if you want to get into the sideshow and try to be the number 1 seed, get into the Shedeur Sanders market and just replace Caleb Williams and get somebody that can probably move the needle a little bit more and maybe have instant flash success and blow it all out. Hey, just bring the combo, bring Dion and Shedeur to Chicago and let them just
they're going to Dallas, man. Dion's going to coach Dallas
too, instead of chaotic and boring. If you're going to lose,
Hunter's
at least
going
be
to
entertaining.
Maybe. Yeah. Matt, how are you doing, buddy? You okay?
I'm fine. I'm just listening to bullshit. I mean,
it really is.
I would rather go with Cameron Ward.
But no, in all seriousness, do Bears fans talk tank to a degree of seriousness, or do Lions fans always when it was time when they were
last year?
I used to.
They got Caleb Williams. Andy every week
Andy did.
was
No. They got Caleb Williams because
I got to do a timeout really quick.
Tanked.
Quick timeout. Andy, before you go, are you free Friday to come on my show Friday night?
Yeah.
I might be.
It'd be at 9 Eastern.
Let's chat offline about that.
I'll message you, okay? I know you got a book in a minute, so I want to catch you. So
23-21 Bears. Vikings are going to be continue their season swoon, right? They're going to fall here. I mean, Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold, right? Vikings fans a little cocky. I don't know, even Lions fans cocky. Obviously, if there's a team in the division that I wouldn't mind seeing winning, it would be the Lions, right? But hey, you still got to prove that you can do it in the playoffs. I mean, you won some games, right? But I mean, Dan Campbell, he still can make some boneheaded plays. That Cowboys game, I mean, he still got to do it in the moment. And hey,
possible, Peter, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll say this though: as a Bears fan, do you know what the NFC title game looks like? It's rarefied pressured air. It's tough. And the Lions have been there. And for the Lions,
have you been to the Super Bowl though?
And they got to the situation, and
I know.
now the next
And
step
then-
for the Lions is to go beyond that. And I do think that the Lions have a chance to step into that air this year. They've got there, so it's a good start to be there, and now to learn from it, choking that first time. So I hope that the Lions definitely take advantage of the bitter lesson that they learned last year.
That's true. I'm wondering if Grant Campbell did. That was a good point, Andy.
Shelby, did the Falcons ever, did the Vikings ever learn from that Falcons loss?
Oh, ouch. That's mean. It's been so long, man. We all been like kind of that was. There's been some low blows. I took some too.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, obviously, everyone.
First off, we're dogging the Lions. Why do we need to throw around post-traumatic?
just a little bit of.
I was being quiet.
He's like, hey, Coke.
I'm saying over here, just
you think of like, okay,
like a blitzkrieg all of a sudden.
To say you get there,
Shit, that could be the Lions with their fucking inch miss field goal.
It can be. Yeah.
All they needed to go is a foot over, and it could have been the exact same situation.
Well, the reason why there's no curve on the ball is because his leg is so strong. He can kick it straight. He can kick it where he needs to go. That's why he doesn't need to have any bend to the ball. He's got a pretty strong leg.
This is really cocky for the Lions fan because they barely edged the Vikings.
Hey, that's all
that
matters.
Had a chance to go after.
Very close to him.
That's how the Lions win every game. That's the sick part about it is the Lions win close games.
No, they're not. You guys aren't the Chiefs. You guys have won some by more than.
Blowing people out.
That's what this Texans game was telling. Because you guys had been
fantastic. The schedule has allowed them to have some opportunities to play some teams that have been struggling. But I am curious about the Vikings. After the 12-7 loss, what's the vibe? You said it. Is Sam Darnold seeing ghosts? What the heck's going on with the Vikings?
Oh, didn't y'all win?
Yeah.
We won.
12-7.
Yeah. He said loss. I was like, okay.
Oh, sorry, 12-7 win.
Yeah. I mean, they did win.
That it was Romo's first game, and they were like,
Andy.
You know what? Let's give him some confidence. Let's not score touchdowns. Let's just let him get every single field goal. So he has full confidence going into every other game.
I'm gonna go ahead and get a nice little leg workout over there.
Yeah,
get the kicker going.
Throw him in there. You got this, buddy. Like now 4 for 4. We're fine. No, that was a very frustrating game because if you look at it from the sense of Kevin O'Connell's coaching, it was amazing. Like we had the ball for 42 minutes. I looked it up. The record in the NFL is 48 minutes. Like 42 minutes we had the ball. It should not have been 12-7, and that's like kind of pathetic that we're looking at it that way. Or that is what we have to look at. But if it comes down to the coaching, that would have been such a different score. It just was that Darnold did some shit, right?
Yeah.
But just like you were saying with Goff, the rest of our team is so talented. Mm-hmm. Like if we and that one interception in the end zone was not an interception. That you cannot tell me that was a catch. He literally oh my gosh, that shit pisses me off. Because if that would have not been ruled a catch, we probably would have gotten a touchdown there. So that is frustrating. But when Darnold is on, I'm not worried at all. It's just a matter of how long will Darnold be on? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Can he handle pressure? You talked about this last time we were on.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just frustrating with him because, like, I think it's beginning to, I view it as the Justin Jefferson effect, but I think going into the season, and I was one of the people where everyone was like, oh, how's Darnold going to be, da-da-da. And it was like, oh, well, when all else fails, just throw it up to Jefferson. Okay, that's all great and dandy. But now it's like we are so deep in our receiving core. Plus you have Jones, tight ends, all of that. we don't need to just throw it to Justin Jefferson. There's so many times that Addison
I love
is
Addison.
open in the
Addison's
backfield,
great.
and he's like not even fucking. Like,
No,
oh my
he's been
gosh,
killing me in
it's so
fantasy.
frustrating.
Addison just hasn't been used enough. He hasn't. I have him in
He
2 leagues, and he's ticking me off. And it's not him. They just don't throw him. And now they've got Hawkinson back, too, so you guys have weapons galore. Your third receiver isn't bad either.
I mean, those third down conversions on Sunday were crazy with Hawkinson. Like, it was just one after one after one after one. And, yeah, it's just a matter of, you look at the Lions game, and they just didn't click this week, right? They won barely, whatever. That's kind of how it is every week with the Vikings. It's like when we click, it's amazing. You always look at all the games this season, the game against the Lions, the game against the Packers. We were dominating in the beginning.
I couldn't keep it together. He was just, he said it, and me and Matt both looked at each other.
What side is it?
It's that one right there, right? Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Hey, Ned, in a minute when Shelby's done, I want to know what else you got.
Along and knocks it down.
I got 2 questions for Shelby.
Yes.
Whenever you're ready. So one thing, Sam Darnold actually accomplished a feat. So did y'all. And that was that y'all were the second team in NFL history that has thrown 3 interceptions and no touchdowns.
And one.
The first thing was the Green Bay Packers back in 2000.
Hey, Brett Favre! I know that one. I remember that game.
Someone did 5 interceptions, and it was a 15-point deficit and won.
So
NFC North, baby, we are the best
division.
Okay.
If we can be honest, I feel like there's quarterback questions every team in the division. Darnold handling pressure, my stupid quarterback throwing picks. Caleb, if they can even protect him to have a quarterback, is he going to last the season? And Goff, stuff from the past last year, can he elevate? We're going to see.
Well, I have a 2-part question, and it goes into a buy or sell for you, Shelby.
Okay.
Question number 1, and this will just go 1A, 1B. And I gotta get to Chris Bisco's.
Just throw in the comments, Peter, just because I know we only have a little bit longer.
But first things first, Sam Darnold has 13 turnovers in 9 games. He leads the NFL right at this moment in turnovers for one particular player. Also, I have some concerns with the Vikings defense, and I'm pretty sure you do too, and you notice this, is that it seems like the Vikings start off really hot at the beginning of the game, and then they cool off in the second half and usually let teams back into it. So buy or sell, how do you think, is the Vikings going to get past the divisional round this year and go into the championship, evidently to go NFC championship to play evidently the Lions, because they got games left?
John anointed them. They're anointed anyway.
We know they're the
team.
Question before the bye, I think we would be having a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be the most realistic Vikings fan as possible because I do have, the Falcons. That Eagles loss in the NFC Championship is the most heartbreak I've ever felt. So I try to not set myself up for pain. John, you'll learn quickly that that's what you need to do, because 8-1 don't be shit. Anyway, I don't mean a fucking thing.
She's like Randy Moss. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Our kicker, man.
No, this isn't even just an issue this year. We have had an issue with third quarter for years. It is one of the things we will. I had a joke last year that I was like, are they doing this on purpose? Like, is it something where it's like, oh, we want to make the games close, so like just fall off in the third and then come back in the fourth? Like, it's so frustrating. And there was so much talk about Flores' defense in the first part of the season. Yeah. And now, like, so many flaws have been pointed out because, 1, he's been figured out in a lot of ways. And 2, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, I'll be sitting there and I'm like, this cannot be the defensive scheme that he came into this game with, because I understand that like we're a high blitz defense and whatever, but it's like, what game was it where
Peter's having too much fun.
they were just like not dropping back in coverage at all? Like it was just, they would be trying to blitz. I think it was against the Lions, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Let's remember I didn't get any sleep, but
21 hours.
21 hours.
Yeah, it's sloppy mistakes, but then they come back at the end and they're getting interceptions or they're doing like these crazy things, and that is the issue that we will get to in the playoffs. Do I think that we're going to get to the playoffs? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that we can, looking at the other teams that we would be going against right now, I think that we could get past the wild card round.
Yeah, you play Arizona.
You said what?
I can see that. You'd play Arizona right now if the playoffs started.
Yep.
You'd be the 5 seed. You'd play in Arizona, who'd win the NFC West. It'll probably, in my honest opinion, it'll be the 49ers. So you'd go against San Fran, probably, maybe Arizona. San Fran.
That'll depend if it's here or there.
It'll be there. They win. You'd be the wild card, so you'd go there for either of those teams. Unless you can win the division, you got to come back.
I can't be okay with that. If you were to tell me for sure we're playing the 49ers at home or away, you're not going to get me to say that that's going to be a win. Now, if you were to say 49ers are going to be in Minnesota, I'd be like, oh, yeah. Because that is the thing with Minnesota. They like to stick with certain things, especially the home field advantage. But am I going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to beat the Lions to go to the Super Bowl? No, I can't. I can't confidently say that. Like, I'm a very realistic person, and I do think that the Lions are the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like there's no denying it. I would almost rather we lose and not go. I don't want it to be Lions Vikings NFC Championship if we fucking lose. Like, I would rather we lose the game before.
Let someone else say that now.
I'm deleting Twitter. Like, if that happens, y'all will not be seeing me, at least for a while. I wouldn't be able to. Oh my gosh, I'll be just popping a Xanax that day for sure. But yeah, I want to confidently say yes. Again, if you asked me before the bye, I would be like, genuinely, I do kind of believe that we could get to the NFC Championship. You know, I don't like to say the Super Bowl just because, you know, I haven't personally seen it like in my lifetime. So
I get it.
Yeah, but yeah, there's definitely concerns there. We'll see how they play these next couple teams. I was confident in our schedule, but seeing how they played against the Jaguars, that should have been a blowout. So
yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
If
Man,
Trevor
what else you got?
Back? Do you think?
Question number 2.
If Trevor Lawrence was that quarterback, do you think y'all would have won?
Actually, yes.
Okay. No, I agree with that.
Because another thing about the Vikings is we play down to our opponent.
It's frustrating.
Again, I don't want to make it about the Lions, but the thing that I respect about the Lions is it does not matter who the fuck they're playing. They are going to play at the exact same caliber. That's why they're winning these games at such a huge margin. Vikings tend to go into games and they're like, oh, this is going to be a breeze. Let's use this as a time to, you know, not go too hard because we know we're going to win. And then what do they fucking do? They embarrass themselves. So I think that they would have maybe went in with a better mindset, because I think they went in with just like, oh yeah, this is fine. But also, you know, really the only reason that it was that shitty was Sam Darnold. It wasn't anybody else. Like, so, but yeah, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is not someone that I fear in the league.
He's somebody you want to play against at this point. You want to play against Trevor Lawrence because he's good. It's worse than what my guy does. He's probably going to gift wrap you a win. And Doug Peterson, I mean, now that Dennis Allen's out of New Orleans, that's probably the worst quarterback coach combo in the league at the moment because they are a dumpster fire. So maybe we can just chalk that up to hopefully just a bad game for y'all.
Yeah.
Although I do still feel like you nailed something with that Sam Darnold comment a few weeks ago when we played y'all in that second half. It's going to be, is this guy really an NFL starting quarterback, or is he being buoyed up by the rest of the team? Because Goff, they were winning in spite of him, and they didn't need him, and then he had a bad game. We'll see what happens next week. They're the best roster in the NFL outside of maybe the Chiefs, and I think they're better than the Chiefs, but the Chiefs still they're stupid. The Vikings are similar to the Lions, where you guys have talent everywhere. Packers are slight notch below. We're coming. We're younger. That's why I think my future is bright. But you guys have talent everywhere. Can this dude just steady the ship, not make mistakes, and make key plays when you need him to? That's similar to what the Lions are going to need out of Goff in the playoffs. They're going to need it at some point. So.
And again, pre-bye, I really thought that because he wasn't making these stupid mistakes. I feel like the whole joke of he's seeing ghosts, but it's like I think that he is getting this weight. I think he needs to turn off social media and just like not. Cause that's another thing with the Vikings. Like the second we're hot, it's like, oh, actually, let's completely explode our entire season.
This could be a get-right game, though, because you guys, I mean, the Titans' defense is solid, but this is like last week where you guys should just destroy them, get them some confidence, get to 8-2, just destroy the Titans. You should. You're 6-point favorites on the road.
We should.
That's a good comment.
Peter
had some fun ones, too.
Yeah.
Ned, what else do you have?
If he shows up or if he doesn't is really the biggest question.
Peter had one for you, Shelby.
Is that like Randy Moss?
Oh, he's taking shots.
He's taking shots.
He wanted to come on, but I was like, I got to boogie in a little bit here. And Med's sitting at like 10, almost 10:30.
That's funny, Peter, about tanking. We want to tank. Finally, they got an evaluator. The reason why the Lions have got this far, number 7 pick, followed by the number 2 pick, and you get Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson. That's a pretty good way to do it if you have a good evaluator to get some talent. That's the way to do it in the NFL, is to kind of have a stretch where you get some high draft picks and you get right and you have a good quarterback. You build an offensive line. You build in the trenches. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science how you build a winning football team. And the Detroit Lions took advantage of a trade for Stafford, and they went in the trenches, both sides, and then they got some skill players that were able. And then really the grit. I mean, the foundation was laid when you get Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aleem McNeil. You have a core of some gritty people that also went through some hard times that first year, 3-win year, and now they know once they learn how to win. It's just been great for the last 2.5 seasons.
And Peter, really quick, were you alive when you guys won the Super Bowl? Were you alive? Do you remember it? If you were, so there you go. I remember 2 Super Bowl wins. How many do you remember, bud? That's why Med's wearing a Dick Cut jersey, because that's a great player for you.
Heroes. I mean,
that's
also
a hero. He played a long time ago. He was a coach. It's been a minute.
The coach. No, and I mean, just to piggyback on what John said, I mean, yeah, you do have to suck a little bit. I mean, they are the first team to go 0-16, and they got Matthew Stafford, who ended up helping them out in a different way. So,
and he helped the Rams out. It kind of was a win-win quarterback trade.
I think that's one of the best trades in history.
When was the last time that happened? It wasn't like the Deshaun Watson trade that was a dumpster fire, or like the Bears trade, the fleecing of even people are saying Bryce Young had a good game when he had 122 yards. And they won because they won the game. So, and
Peter, we got to have a new rule here now on this show that there is no discussion about Lions football BC before Campbell. It's all AC from here on out. And that's the way it's going to be.
Nice.
I got a question for everybody, but I want to know if Med's done first because I took the.
No, I'm pretty much done. I mean, basically all the other stuff was just me talking shit about the Packers and everything like that. So
Oh yeah, no. Did you want to take a shot? I took plenty. I was kind of.
No, you're good. No, you're in rare form. You're in rare form.
Did you
Is
like
your
it?
jersey
That was
on
good, right?
backwards?
I did put it on backwards so that way people would know that I'm actually wearing a bear
Andy
shirt.
knows what I'm wearing. I wore this for
I
Andy.
feel that because I
I
have
wore
to be
this for
like,
Andy.
I am wearing
My,
I like it.
here.
I was gonna say, is
Okay.
that like the vintage one too from like the 1990s?
Yeah,
All right.
it's 94.
Oh, nice.
Nice. I got a question for everybody. We
Shoot.
kind of already hit it. Not this week. What is your prediction? Like, where do you think your team's destiny lies this season? I'll go last. Shelby, we kind of already hit it. You thinking divisional round, or do you think you actually end up? I know you're like dreading saying conference championship.
I'm gonna go with divisional.
All right.
I'm gonna be as realistic as I can. I think that we're gonna be second in the NFC North.
Okay. Alright.
And I think that we can't get past the first round.
Listen, it's
I
crazy.
think my team can too. I think my team's winning a playoff game. I think they have a chance. So
Yeah.
It's crazy. The Lions kind of have this feel of team of destiny. Just look how crazy this is. The Super Bowl this year takes place in New Orleans. That's where Dan Campbell came from in terms of being the tight ends coach. Aaron Glenn, Alex Anzalone, also history with the Saints. You recognize maybe the universe is conspiring. Some weird things have happened where the Lions get the coach that was a part of the 0-16 team. Not a big part, but because he got hurt, but he was on that roster. The Lions, build a football team by getting a coach than a general manager. They build it a little differently. They stick with their guy after 3 wins in 2021 and then a bad start, 1-6 the next year. So I think that the ceiling clearly is the Super Bowl win. My prediction, again, I got to stick with it realistically, is I'm always about maximum pain for the Lions because that's how I've been, it's clearly the Lions were within 1/2 from getting to the Super Bowl and they choked. That was painful. Is there more room for pain for this football team? I don't want to see it. It would be painful. So, but again,
maybe you guys are the new Packers.
The
key of choking in the fucking NFC.
Hey,
I hope not.
what the hell?
I
What the
hope
hell?
not.
My team just loses to the stupid 49ers. I just want to beat the damn 49ers. You know what?
That's
I'm just going to say it. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. If kids are still watching, forget it. Fuck the Lions. If we can just beat the fucking 49ers one time, one time.
Well, you don't
I just want to beat that stupid team.
Real fast. Remember, too, the Chiefs are going for a three-peat. Could the Lions be that team? I think. And plus,
knocking them off. I will root for you. After all this, I would root for you guys.
I think
once
you realize the division rivalry, the Lions are a good group of guys that are very talented. And
please stop hurting people. We didn't do anything to you. I didn't cause. I didn't personally cause.
If the Lions, I'm counting on it.
I didn't do it.
If the Lions get to the Super Bowl, I expect support from Izac, Med, and Shelby for the Lions to take it over the division.
I kind of like the Lions.
The number one team for the future, and that's the Lions.
Y'all hurt me this year, though, because
a great name moving forward. And the Lions are a great representative of the NFC North.
So here's my deal. If any team from the NFC North made the Super Bowl, sorry, Matt, I don't think it's this year, but if any team made the Super Bowl this year, I would root for them, including the Lions. But that did crush my heart. I really thought we had a shot against y'all. I'm hoping my quarterback can figure out what color his team's jerseys are moving forward and how to throw the ball away on a screen pass and not try to force it because he thinks he's Brett Favre. So that would be wonderful. The Vikings, I think, have an outside chance. We're going to figure out how far Sam Darnold can take a team. That's going to be key. John, I still think you guys actually have a shot at the Super Bowl, but we're going to find out. The next few weeks are going to be very telling.
And then Izac, too, I think the Packers have to learn how to practice outdoors because
I know
in the elements, it appeared as if the Lions had more grit and gumption and ability
I know,
to handle
it's still frustrating. You guys are physical, that's on Lambeau.
I hate
that. I hate that.
A little bit unprepared. uncoached.
I know, it was so bad.
It didn't look like you guys
Well,
understood.
hey, you know what though? In
And
all
also, too,
realisticness,
I want to say this, guys. I hate to say it, but not only do the Lions want to win on the field, the Lions fans are coming over to your stadium and taking it over to cheer, to cheer
it's
Jared
really
Goff,
funny.
to make it so that when the Lions end up winning the game, that you see a sea of blue. It's a fun time. And I think the Lambeau win was just completely, in a manner. Oh, I did it. I forgot. Now it hit me. You held the show on just a little bit too long. How did it feel to see our player rock a Green Bay Sucks hoodie into the stadium and just kind of put it out there that
what that is that's decades of hurt from never making a Super Bowl and being bitter about finally being decent after sucking for so long. That's what that is. That's a lot of pain coming out. That's what it
was
is.
fun too because I did ask. I understood too because Green Bay caught his brother, so I could understand. And you guys did pour beer on his head last year, so
yes,
but that was pretty classic. Amon-Ra St. Brown wore a Green Bay Sucks hoodie into the stadium. It was awesome.
And they've beaten us 3 times there, so I'm like, we better go back in Detroit and win it again. If we go back in Detroit and beat you guys after last year, man, I'm gonna be loving that. That's gonna be great.
I will say, I went to Detroit Vikings 2 years ago in Detroit, and I've never been to a stadium that drops silence so nicely on offense. Like that's the reason that they have such good. I mean, they don't have as good of home field advantage as the Vikings. But this
you had to get one more in. You said to take one more shot earlier. Is what you said.
Know.
Yeah.
But
in Detroit, it was like you could have heard a pin drop in that motherfucker. I was like, oh, this is nice. Whereas at US Bank, there is times, we saw it last year, like I was at the game 2 weeks ago and motherfuckers were starting the skull chant on 3rd down. What the fuck?
We're trying to concentrate.
I don't know if they could see that we were on 3rd down, but I'm just like, and you can't tell them to shut the fuck up because then you're also making noise. So literally everyone just went like this.
Really?
That's good. Ridiculous. I like that. And it wasn't even like it wasn't the other fans. When I went to Vikings 49ers this year, the 49ers fans, they showed up. This was dumbass Vikings fans. I know, the
49ers fans. 49ers fans suck. I can tell you a story about that in a minute. I got one. It's unfortunate, actually, but
49 Stadium is the worst.
There was 49ers fans in Arizona. It was right after my aunt died. I went for this stupid game in January, and I was with my family, all Packers fans, and everybody else there, because the Cardinals suck most of the time. We're all 49ers fans in Arizona, and I'm sitting there, it was an emotional time anyways. I really wanted my team to beat this stupid 49ers once in the playoffs. This is my team's kryptonite. I fucking hate the 49ers. And I was yelling every time we were scoring, and I was shocked we were even beating them, and then lo and behold, we couldn't stop the run, and Chris McCaffrey scored the touchdown. And I had to hear all these stupid 49ers fans. I just told my wife, I was like, let's just get out of here. I'm done. I'm done.
Went
to Arizona and Phoenix. So stupid, man.
It's a very tough place to be.
I freaking hate the 49ers. I don't think it's their year. I really am going to be shocked if they make the Super Bowl.
Not their year. No.
Okay, really quick. Med, are y'all going to the playoffs? Are you going to have a winning record? What's your hope?
I'm the most realistic Bears fan, and before this season even started, I said 8-9. I'm actually wondering if we're even going to touch that now, because the guy that they got as the offensive coordinator was the offensive coordinator with the Panthers when Frank Wright was their coach, and it's just not going to look good. I said it at the beginning of the year. I'm saying it again until this year and into next year. That next year is when I actually see the change. So.
Fair enough.
That's how I look at it. Yeah, no, we're going to get a really nice pick. We're going to get a nice defensive end, or probably a guard or something. Either way, we're going to be planting Jared Goff's ass into the fucking damn turf next year and the years to come. So, bear down.
I mean, NFC North is going to be good for a while, so.
The realisticness. Okay, mine really fast. I think the Packers could win a playoff game. I don't think they're going to catch Lions or the Vikings for the division, but I do think they have the potential to do what they did last year, go win a playoff game. Maybe if they get hot and Love can stop being a dumbass, maybe win 2 and lose in the conference championship. They almost did it last year, and I think we're a better team this year, even with Love's mistakes. We are way more well-rounded. He didn't lose an Aaron Jones, but we've got a deep running back room. Our receiving core is better. Our offensive line is probably better than last year. Our secondary is way better. It just really comes down to Jordan Love, because I trust LaFleur. The coaching in this division, outside of the Bears, is excellent.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'll take
guys.
it. I'll take
Outside
that.
of you,
He's like, I own it. He's like, I own it. But I mean, Kevin O'Connell's great. I love LaFleur. Obviously, Dan Campbell's a hell of a coach. All 3 are awesome coaches. That's why I think all 3 teams are probably going to the playoffs. I really do think so.
Great.
There's the
we
shade.
all had above 500 until Bears had to fucking ruin it.
I mean, it's what we do.
They couldn't live in the sun too long. It's too bright.
Let me just go ahead and get like my get a White Russian in here. I could be like the Big Lebowski and just sit here and just chill the whole damn night. I mean, it's all good.
I love it. Well, guys, I got a boogie in a few. My wife had a car wreck, and I'm gonna go check on her in a minute. My wife was in a car wreck a few weeks ago, and it's her first night trying to sleep in the bed. So I'm gonna go check on her in a few. That's what I've been.
Right now, I was like,
no.
He'd rather do this than be with his wife.
Bad context.
Like, I gotta come in a few minutes.
It was 4 weeks ago yesterday. She actually had, John, she had the Aiden Hutchinson leg injury. Her same way, too. So here's her leg. So she was driving. I'll just tell the story really quick. So she's driving on a 2-way highway. She's trying to hang a left. The guy behind her was trying to pass, and he hit her right here. Daughter was in the car. Is okay. Hit her right in the front of the car. Her car went off the road like this. She went off this way. I think she's already asleep, but I'm just going to check in a minute. Anyways, her leg did the same thing Hutchinson's did. Tibia and fibula, and her ribs, her wrist. It sucks. She's in a wheelchair. We're hoping I don't know how Hutchinson might play in like 4 months. She's supposed to be out of work at least 6. So probably closer to 8 or 9. I don't even know. I don't know. It's just, it's tough. So yeah. She's trying to sleep in the bed. She's been on the couch for the last, I don't know. She got out of the hospital almost 2 weeks ago. So it's been, we took a break from the show for a couple weeks. Yeah, it's been tough, man. So that's why I didn't want to go. I could talk with you guys all night. We should do this. I think we should do this again in December, honestly. But
one more time.
John, this was Shelby, this was great. Seriously. Ned is hoping, we were hoping to come. So John, I've gone on Shelby's show with Andy. It's called Freezin 4. And me and Ned were both hoping to come on sometime soon and shoot the shit with you guys. That'd be fun.
Yes, absolutely.
We should try to get John on there too. That'd be cool.
Hell yeah. Let's
That'd
do
be
it.
awesome.
You know where to find me. Just message, and we'll try to work it out. But
I'm just glad I woke up, guys.
The division's fun.
You're good.
I would have been really sad if I missed it.
Hopefully the Bears can join the party soon, but not with Eberflus.
No.
Lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Lose. All right. Hey, really quick. Everybody, I should have done this at the beginning. My bad. I was kind of excited for the show. Shelby, can you tell people where to find you, where to find your, all your social medias, and when you're on Freezin 4 and all that?
Shelby tweeting on Twitter, Instagram, the Skull Queen on TikTok, and our Freezin 4 NFC North podcast is every Wednesday at 9:30 Central Time. So it's similar to this. We have guys from every team. It's a blast. It's fun. There's a lot of shit talking. Come through. It's a really good time.
Thanks for hopping on. John, I got a question for you after the show really quick, but can you remind everybody where to find you, where to find your articles, all about you?
Yeah, well, everybody's welcome. Visit at Detroit Podcast on X, Twitter. Definitely interactive, talking about the Lions. Definitely do the podcast. That's the hub. You can find everything there. But definitely I cover the Lions for Sports Illustrated. I'm there every day as much as possible, covering the Lions, getting as much inside information as possible. You can visit si.com/NFL/Lions or just type in Detroit Lions SI. Daily articles, videos, interviews, podcasts with the players. So doing the thing and having a good time covering the Detroit Lions. Winning football is amazing. The support has been amazing. Even guys like Peter Russell can understand everything going on. Very friendly platform. And for Nathan, yes, let's talk our shit. It's the best time of year. Hopefully you rewind and listen to the trouble that we got in with talking about the Vikings and the Bears and all the good stuff. Hey, that's what it's about. The Lions are talking their shit, and that's what I said, Nathan. I said, not only are the Lions winning, but the fans are having a great time at the expense of the other teams that are losing, and it's fun to see. Definitely visit, and I appreciate everybody's big support for an 8-1 football team that's about to truck the Bears twice in the next month.
Oh, there it is again. John, I was starting to like you, and now I'm not so sure.
He's like, we're just loving winning at y'all's expense. I'm like, dude, like, you guys sucked for decades. Oh, man, living in the sun.
I mean, it's
power hungry now.
Good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I get it. It's very Game of Thrones, so cutthroat right now.
Yep.
That's like, I wish I knew what it felt like.
We're the Starks over here.
Yeah, that's right.
Ned, where can people find you, bud? Obviously, with me here, we're renaming it to Cheesy Bear soon. We wanted to fix the logo and stuff first.
Yeah, I lost the logo.
No, it's all good.
You can find me on Shots from the Sidelines. I come on every Thursday at 7:15, close it at 8:15, so you can catch the game. This week, we're going to be talking about the college football playoff predictions, talking about some hot seats, buy or sell on a whole bunch of coaches, including my own. And we'll have some predictions and some other good stuff with my co-host, Seth. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, if any of y'all ever want to join, you're more than welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, man. All right. And I'm obviously Isaac with Fun Football Podcast. You can find me on Friday nights this weekend. I'm going to go at 9 p.m. Eastern because I'm going to be going on Wolf Spaces before at 8 Eastern. So we're pushing it back an hour. I'm trying to get Andy and Med on. We're going to do a Packer Bear panel and all of the Week 11 picks. And I'm just going to spoiler. I'm picking the Packers to extend the streak. Feeling good about it. If there's one thing I can hang my hat on, it's beating you guys. So I'm going to hang my hat on it. And Med's not feeling very comfortable about it. But you can find this show and Fun Football on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I do shorts on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll probably make another cocky video saying the Packers will beat the Bears, and like I did the Lions. And hopefully this time I'm right.
And look like Ronald McDonald afterwards when you sat there and fluffed up your hair.
So the story is, I did this video. I was out getting food, and it was all bright. I'm in my Packer gear, and I'm all like, "We're gonna beat the Lions. Here's why." Boom, 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 boom. And then after the game, it was great. I'm in like the darkness. My hair is disheveled, and I was not very happy. That game really ticked me off. I was not happy with the way Jordan Love looked. So it was pretty funny. They both went viral. I got a lot of shit for it, and yeah, it was fun. So thanks, John. I hope your team, loses one game maybe, this season. One more game, that'd be nice. But thank you guys. Seriously, Shelby, this was great. Thank you for waking up. We appreciate it. John, thank you for coming back on. If you guys are game, I'd love to do it in December. And this was a lot of fun, guys. So let's see how our teams do over the next few weeks. Let's see. Matt, anything else?
Thank you.
No, y'all go ahead and do let's all do our little chant that we have for our teams. You can go Skull, you can go Pack.
Bears suck.
Yeah.
Fuck the Pack.
No.
One pride coming to town.
Pack, no.
Go Pack, go. Let's go.
Bye, y'all.
Later.